What's up, people? What's up, people? What's up, people? It is your boy, MM2K, and I'm here with our co-host, Daryl Smock Jr. Daryl, how you doing today, man?
Doing good, man. I'm excited. This week has been actually a really good week for Stadia.
Yeah.
I'm excited to get into it.
It's been a crazy week for Stadia. I mean, ow, crap. It's been so good, I'm busting my elbow and stuff. It's been a good week for Stadia. I mean, the stuff that's going on is bananas. Like,
yeah.
Jesus. And Daryl, what it does is it makes you extra excited for this keynote that's coming up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I feel like I've hit the nail every time when it comes to talking about this keynote and what Stadia is doing. I feel like I've hit the nail on the head every time. If you've been looking at the little chat that we've been having in the DM, and like a little on Twitter, I've been right every time so far. I've been right every time.
Oh man!
So I think I have a good understanding on how this keynote is going to play out.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm hoping that you are 1,000% right, and all of that stuff comes true, man. Because it's all amazing to see it, and it's getting us all excited and stuff just talking about it. So, what are the things that we're going to talk about in regards to that? Well, we are going to cover some of the news that's been coming out, the keynote, the Windows porting, and the turnabout that the media is doing. We're going to cover that. We also want to talk about GFN. GFN's 3080 tier was released in a monthly format yesterday.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Nobody's saying a word about it, and that's a little surprising to me. So I wanted to talk to Daryl about why, and then lastly, we're going to examine the last of the Mohicans of the top. I think the top cloud gaming services to me, it's Stadia, GFN, and even Luna. You know what I mean? As far as potential is concerned. So I want to talk about Luna because Luna did some things as well, and some people said that, with Luna doing this is going to resonate and do this to the Stadia community. And I just want to look at that as well. We actually got some data courtesy of our good friend Jack Deslip's Stadia stats database. We extrapolated some data, and I actually want to share with you all what we've seen since Luna's launched out of beta. All right, let's talk about all that. Yep.
Let's get into it, man.
Some people might be excited. Some people might be mad. They might pucker their lips, but the facts are the facts. And nothing you can do about it. With that said, let's talk about what we've been playing last week. And Smock, what you been getting into since the last show?
It's pretty much consistent. Bunch of Destiny. I've done the world's first raid race happened this past Saturday.
Oh wow.
And it was amazing to watch. Like, it's a big deal because Bungie released their numbers, and I want to go to the top real quick. I'm a and then I can share with you so you can bring it up. It's
okay.
It's actually this week at Bungie, yes, 310. So is pace. Hold on, pace. So you can look, so you can see that these numbers are real. So this week, basically this past week, Bungie spoke about new fixes. I mean, they spoke about the raid race, right?
Yep.
So if you scroll down a little bit, right past the belt, the little scroll, it says validate the super raid 48-hour stats. Let's break it down. The player stats entered the raid 546,616. Players that cleared the acquisition 270,648. That basically means that's the first boss. That's the first boss.
Oh, okay.
Players that cleared the caretaker 131,550. Players that cleared the exhibition 80,000. That's the third boss.
Oh, wow.
And people that completed the full raid, 32,000. Bro. And bro, it's these like so many people. This has been the best launch for
Yeah.
Destiny in a long and like this raid. So many people was trying to get into it on day one that they started seeing error codes, so they extended it to 2 days instead of one. Usually it's only 24 hours. It's like this time they extended it to 2 days. Yeah. So this is over the course of the 2 days.
Help me understand that. So you're saying, oh, I see what you're saying. So normally with the raid, there's a 24-hour time limit. Is what you're saying, or
for the when the raid
access.
So for the first 24 hours, there's a race to see which team can beat it first.
Oh, right? I get you. Oh, yeah. Okay. So
usually that race is 24 hours, but they extended it to 48 hours.
I got
you.
So
because of the error code, because it was so many people trying to attempt it that it was the server, the raid for the service for that raid was being overloaded. Yeah,
that's crazy.
And it's Destiny 2, man. It's on another level right now, bro. Right now is the best time. And then like I was telling you before we went live, I was also playing Assassin's Creed Dawn of Ragnarok. And I can tell you right now, Assassin's Creed is on some Elden Ring type stuff with these bosses, bro. Because there's no reason why it should take me over an hour to beat one boss. To beat the very first boss, it took me over an hour. Like, bro, that's insane. And supposedly the first boss is that's gonna end up being the final boss.
Oh wow.
That you fight, So it's in that expansion is pretty insane right now. And the story is good. Like when Ubisoft said this is their most ambitious expansion, they wasn't playing around. You could do a lot of stuff that's not typical Assassin's Creed style stuff. It's different.
Say that again. I'm sorry, Smock. My mic went out for a second. Say that again.
When Assassin's Creed, let me go back. When Assassin's Creed said that this was their most ambitious expansion, it wasn't playing around. They would say you can do a lot. You can do a lot of stuff in this expansion. It's really good. The story is really good too.
Now, is the expansion kind of standalone? Like, let's just say, for instance, you got a noob like me, who really didn't play Valhalla. You
don't have to complete Valhalla to play it. You can jump right into it. So it's available to everybody, no matter where you are in the story. You can stop the story, get the expansion. The expansion is not free. It is $40.
Yeah.
Let's just put that out there. It's $39.99. But it's a lot of content.
Yeah.
It's a lot of content. And if you like Assassin's Creed, I think you'll like it. But it's different. It's not, the original style Assassin's Creed, It's like dude, it's a lot of stuff you can do that's really ambitious and I think they did a good job with this one.
Well, I might have to check that one out because Valhalla's cool. It's just where I'm at right now. I'm not really, I'm at the very beginning when you first break out with your crew.
Yeah.
And it's just
Yeah, they did give a disclaimer that by playing this expansion, if you complete it and you go back to continue your story, you're gonna be overpowered.
Okay.
You're gonna be ridiculously overpowered going back into the normal stuff.
So they're not.
But I don't mind it.
Yeah,
I don't mind it because sometimes you want to these bosses are no joke.
Yeah. Okay.
So you get rewarded for it.
Okay. Interesting stuff. All right. Okay. Cool. Well, me on the other hand, and I haven't done the preliminaries. This is Saturday Checkup. I am MM2K, and I'm here with Daryl Smock Jr. All right. So yeah, that's cool stuff. What I'm gonna do is, what I might do, Smock, is I might just jump with the character that I have right now. I might just jump into it and just play it, and then when I want to play the main game, I'll just start all over. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
I might just do that. So that way I don't, Because if I'm OP, I don't like being OP. Like you said, I mean, you are gonna need. I mean, it doesn't hurt to be OP for some of the bosses, but I don't like being OP throughout the whole adventure because then I'll easily get bored.
It's just for the main story, like the main stuff. Like you have to be 300. They boost you up to 300 on 48 to do Dawn of Ragnarok. But I mean, you can still boost up the difficulty for the regular stuff. There is difficulty levels that you can boost it up to. So let's say if you are too powerful, you can boost up the enemies to make them harder.
Okay.
Yeah, in the settings for the game.
Okay. Cool. Well, I'll give that a shot. All right. Well, yeah. What I've been playing though is I've been playing Madden. I've been playing Madden. I did a little bit of Division, and I've played Dawn of Monsters. I really like that game. And I really urge that if you haven't given that game a chance, that you give it a shot. To me, it's one of the better looking games on the platform, and to me, that's saying a lot. Like the trailers don't give the game any justice. You got to play that game and see how good it looks. I did run into some stutter smock. Like I think they tweaked the look of it so much that sometimes you do run into some, a couple of stutters here and there, but it's not too bad. Just not as much as that it's a little bit more than what I'm used to when it comes to Stadia, because my Stadia experience is usually just pristine. But if they can iron those out and keep the graphical quality, the fidelity, man, Jesus Christ, that's a hell of a game on the platform. So, all right, I think that's it for what we've been playing. I think it's time now, after y'all hit that like button, y'all hit the subscribe button and rock those bells, please, because we got a hell of a show for you today. I think it's time for us to get into these topics. So let's start it off. Smock, Stadia's big week. Been a crazy week for Stadia.
It has.
Let's start off with the media hype. The media has been hyped up in a way that I have not seen since Cyberpunk. And really with Cyberpunk, that was less media hype because they were like, at first they were trying to deny it. Oh, I don't know. It's even Digital Foundry came out. I think it's better on the PlayStation 5 playing Cyberpunk. And then gamers were like, no, it's not. It was like the only place where it's good to play it right now is Stadia and maybe a PC if it's powerful enough. But so I haven't seen this much media hype since till around that time, and I would say this media hype that we've seen the last couple of days is even bigger than that. It started off here. Let me show you something. Oh no, I'm not showing you that. This is what I want to show you. Maybe I was already showing it to you. So the media, here's what I put out here. I said, great article providing some possible insight to the enhanced development toolset to be talked about on the 15th. Oh, in this graph. And this came from boilingsteam.com. They sound like a crab place, but nonetheless, sorry. They said, not that while most of us are probably not using cloud gaming solutions, its usage is certainly increasing, as pointed out by our Linux gaming survey last year. Check it out. And the opinions of cloud gaming among cloud gaming users. And some of them were like, it's terrible. It was 11%. And there were other people at the complete opposite of that. They were like, oh, this is fantastic at 6.9%. And then you started to see in some other things, and then really in the middle where people were kind of neutral about it, but being a little bit more favorable towards it. You start seeing that at 3%. I mean, at 33.5%. So most people, I think, are like more neutral to it. Like they're like a little bit more open to it than they normally have been. Looks like we lost Daryl Smock. We lost him for a little bit. That's okay. Smock will be back. In the interim, I also want to give a shout out to Dusty Aran. Dustin, what's going on, brother? Good to see you as always. So here's my thoughts on the media hype, because you had this, and this was the very first article that came out for all this that's happening with the, well, Yes and no. There was another article, but I'm not going to get to it. I'm going to save that for Sound Off. Because Sound Off, we had a crazy situation where somebody wrote actually about the developers conference, but tagged it to only being in relation to white labeling. But then when everybody else got on board and said, oh, hold on, this Windows emulation thing, this is fantastic, woohoo! Then they act like they didn't just report on this and followed the rest of their friends for clicks. We're going to talk about that on Sound Off on Monday, so we'll just hold off on that. But what I want to say is as far as this latest rush of publications that started talking about this news recently, this what's that, boilingsteam.com? Yeah, boilingsteam.com was the first that I saw, and then you started seeing a flood of others. Let's see if we can show some more. This is The Verge, and they say Google hints at Windows games running on Stadia, and it was a positive article, believe it or not. There was just a section of the article which I found super, super hilarious, because it's written by Tom Warren, and it says, Google's plans aren't super clear right now, but we'll learn more about what it's doing. It's super clear if you stay acclimated to the community. You're back. Okay, good. It's super clear if you stay acclimated to the community. It's just, you guys didn't want to do that, so that's why you're lost in the sauce. But Smock, what do you think about? I mean, you came in at the ideal time, because I'm going over these articles. Like here's The Verge. Then there's let me see what else. Oh, and then there's the hilarious Tom's Guide articles where literally just a month prior they said Google Stadia was never going to work, and pretty much it's dead. And then now they say Stadia's not dead. this one idea can shape the future of gaming. Literally, again, a month later by the same author. What do you think about all this media hype, though? What's behind it to you?
Honestly, I think. Oh, first off, before I get into it, how's the volume? Was my volume good? Is it the same, or it didn't change? Yeah, no, you sound good, brother. It's like you never left. Okay. All right, cool. All right. So basically, what I think overall, I want to say that they probably did their job this time, in terms of like finding out what's actually happening and finding out what's going on with Stadia and everything. So it's giving them like, a reason to flip flop back to something positive. Mm-hmm. And I hope that they're doing their job, and they know something that we probably don't. Yeah. In terms of these articles, because how long has it been since they've made a positive article about Stadia? Like I said, like Cyberpunk. It ain't been since Cyberpunk. It's been a long time. So it's like, Stadia is doing something right. They're doing something right in terms of getting this hype. But I also, and I'm not trying to like anything. I'm trying to give them the benefit of a doubt, but I also think that there might be an underlying reason in terms of all this. Like they're boosting it, they're getting everybody hyped about it, and if what they expect isn't there, what they're expecting to happen doesn't happen, that gives them a reason to flip flop back again. Exactly. And do something. Like I said, I'm not trying to be negative or anything, but I feel like a lot of general people don't actually know what a developer summit is. Mm-hmm. They're treating this more like it's like a connect, like what I was talking to Vivi Place about. I was talking to Vivi on Twitter. She was trying to explain to somebody. I don't know if you had this like in the show notes already about that tweet, but about how this guy is saying, "Oh, why is Google Stadia pushing this so hard? Like it's a connect." I'm like, Google Stadia is actually being really clear about their intentions. They made a tweet, that's saying, "Hey, we're calling stadiums, we're calling people that's already invested into the platform." So it could come and tune in because they're going to be some stuff. They're going to talk about some features. They're going to talk about, developers that they've been working with. They're going to talk about how their experience has been and what they're doing to make that experience easier for developers. And we're going, it's going to include some features that we're excited about, that people that's invested in. And I don't think the general public knows that, because they're treating this as if Google is going to come on stage, talk about developers in terms of a bunch of new games that they're going to create. Even though I hope, even though we do hope that they kind of hint or name drop a game that might be coming in the future. They might do that. It's totally possible. But people are thinking that that's going to be the overlying theme of this developer summit, and it's just not. That's not what they're doing.
Yeah.
I
agree with that.
Yeah. So I do like the attention that Stadia is getting, the media, but I just don't want them. Like, it's hard to say if they're doing it genuinely or if they're doing it as like an underlying reason. That's why I don't want to talk about too much about what we talked about in the DMs, but in the DMs they were saying they're loving all this positivity that Stadia is getting from the media lately. I'm like, is it really? Is it really is it really though? Because the only thing that they're doing right now is stating the facts. You feel me? They're just keeping it simple. They're not adding any extra fluff, which is good to see. We haven't had that in a long time, But that's all they're doing. They're still throwing in little hints like this is what they're doing, but we're kind of still skeptical. That's what I'm saying. Like I'm not 100% behind it yet. It's like they're just doing their job. This is what they're supposed to be doing. But they're still throwing little jabs in there.
Yeah, I think that I think that we kind of talked about this last night. They can't be trusted, and it's not. And I know a lot of people are happy that Stadia is getting good press, and I know Google's happy that they're getting good press, and that's great. That's great. But as far as us, the reader, I don't like you, Smock. I don't want to rely on them just off of this, because this is what I see. I see somebody, which is the Steam Boiler crew, whatever the hell the name of the publication is. Shout out to them. I see them putting out an article, or whoever putting out an article about this, when this has been sitting on the periphery for over a week already, and other publications already wrote about it. Right. But then they gave it a different interpretation. They said this is only going to be for white labeling. But when a certain publication wrote about it, but wrote about it in a positive way, and that positive way got traction, then you saw everyone else jump on the bandwagon. So I don't think you see people being or publications trying to be positive about Stadia. They're just copy and pasting something that they saw getting clicks, and then they realized that, hey, we just wrote 3.5 seconds ago that this thing is going to die. So how do we make up for the fact that we wrote that, and without us apologizing for us doing sloppy reporting in the past? And this is just the way that they're doing. So everybody is just jumping on the bandwagon, being calm about it, and being somewhat sensible about it, but they're just copy and pasting what they saw work from somewhere else. So that way, like you said, which is a possibility, they can either say, oh, well, all that stuff that we said in the past, if this does pan out to be something that systemically holds everyone's attention in a positive way, that gives them two plausible things to do. Either A, use it to sweep all the other crazy stuff that they said under the rug. Well, now that we got a better understanding of what's going on, because now we finally done our homework, because we were forced to get clicks. Let's forget about all the crazy stuff we said in the past, because now Stadia is great. Woohoo! Or B, like you said, if somebody can write an article that detracts from what is being said on the 15th and makes it sound negative, and is clickbait working? It's working, with clickbait. Then you'll see everybody else jump back on that bandwagon. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So,
yep. And it's totally like, I have a good feeling that this is going to be a good summit.
Yeah,
a good developer summit. I
have
a really good feeling about it because Stadia they're being really clear, about their intentions. Like I've been saying all week, basically, like Google is using this summit to clear the air. Like first and foremost, they're going to clear the air about all this Stadia's dead talk. Like I'm pretty sure they've finally whatever they've been working on in the past, they've reached a point to where they're finally ready. Like, okay, now we could talk about something. Now we got something to talk about because they've been pretty quiet. They've been quiet last year. Stadia has been quiet. They had their heads down. They've been dropping games consistently, like they've been doing, and now they're ready to speak on what their plans are for the future. And the white labeling talk is like, white labeling out some of their tech, but it's more for the purpose of devs to learn how to develop for the platform more than it is them like shying away from the platform itself. Like I've been saying this a lot. I've been saying that a lot because that's literally what it looks like they're doing. They keep saying, they keep saying themselves that like on the job listings and everything, they just want people to get better want to make it easier for developers to make games for their platform, and then white labeling games is going to help the tech is going to help developers do that, and this summit is going to reiterate what I'm saying, and they're just going to knock it. I'm pretty sure they're going to knock it out the park.
I think with the white labeling, I think that's their way of saying, look, we got this great technology, and right now, everybody that could be using it isn't using it. So let's license it out and let's get some money. So, and I agree with you. So A, people can get more used to the tech, but more importantly, B, we can subsidize making this tech even better. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I'm amazed with a couple of things. I'm amazed that we've turned white labeling in video games into a bad name. And what that does is that shows how wet behind the ears that a lot of us that are doing this cloud research or this cloud community, how wet behind the ears we are when it comes to all of this news. There is nothing bad about white labeling at all for any business. When you white label, that subsidizes your growth. We've just seen it happen with Microsoft. Microsoft white labeled itself into being able to write checks to buy new studios. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it wasn't for the white labeling efforts that kept monetary increases coming, then Microsoft, by their own admission, doesn't look at Xbox as a premier platform, and they don't write checks. This came from Satya Nadella himself. He said, look, when I first got here as CEO, Xbox wasn't a core business. We didn't look at it as a core business. But now that we see that Havoc and PlayFab and I like to throw Minecraft in there because I feel like Minecraft is its own damn platform nowadays. Now that we've licensed this gaming technology out and we've made money off of it, a substantial amount of money, it helped fill the void of us not having the games that people wanted. It did so much that just by selling multiplats and just off of the white labeling efforts, the $10 billion that Microsoft lost in gaming, the two previous gens, they got back in 1 year. In 2018, they made $10 billion. That is the exact sum that they lost the two previous gens. Yeah. So I don't get where we think it's cool or we think it's effective to make white labeling sound bad. With Stadia, since we got this great tech, not everybody's not using it right now. Let's make some money off of it and use that to boost up the developers' tool set, deals that we make with other companies. A whole plethora of things can happen because of it. Look at Microsoft as an example. So that amazes me, Smock. What also amazes me is something that you brought up earlier, just the whole talk about this being in the format of a Kinect. No. People are routinely saying, what is going to happen with my game if Google shuts down? I had a 50-thread manifesto with some Mensa candidate, which I just only did it just because I was bored, about how Google doesn't do this and Stadia's doing this, and he was so wrong, and it was just so fun me smacking him back and forth verbally on Twitter. But that's the type of stuff that's being echoed out there. And when people have that belief that Stadia's shutting down, you have to show them that you're not shutting down because you're making investments, you're building the platform. You don't just show them games. You can show them games all you want. Because guess who else had a whole bunch of games before they shut down? The Dreamcast. The Dreamcast had a gazillion games coming out, and they still shut down. So you don't want to, you want to show the games too, Smock, right? But you want to show that you're building in the infrastructure. So again, this just, for those that are new, because Main Games came on last night. He's like, man, sometimes my head be in the tailspin watching y'all, man. He said, y'all be talking crazy on here. And I said, man, look, here's the deal, bro. You can't listen to everybody. Some people are here for entertainment purposes. Let them do their thing. But when it comes to the facts, you can't listen to everybody. Right. There's nothing wrong with white labeling. And two, yes, this is an emerging tech. You promote the fact that you're building the tech for longevity. You could do that, be hyped about it, and it still not give off the aura of a Kinect. If we're being responsible as content creators or people out on social media, and we're regurgitating what Stadia is doing, opposed to what some people who may be ignorant to what Stadia is doing is, if we focus on the former rather than the latter, because that's what Stadia is focused on, then we're doing everybody a better service by saying, hey, look, this is not a Kinect. This is a developers conference. Look, this is why they got the words developers conference here. If this was a Kinect, they'd be talking about the games they're going to show you. They said nothing about showing you games. As a matter of fact, they just showed you a crap load of games before this just to get the game thing out of the way. You know what I mean? So, yeah. To me, I don't know, Dor. To me, it just shows that we still got a lot of learning to do in this space as we're talking about cloud gaming. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, everything you said was totally correct. I agree with everything you said. It's kind of crazy how people can see Developer Summit, see that Stadia is pushing out and saying, look, we're going to do Developer Summit, and we got some goody features that we're going to mention in the summit that we think our Stadians, they said Stadians are going to love. Mm-hmm. And somehow people take that and flip and like, man, why are they like literally people, well, no, I'm not gonna say people. This person, I don't know how many, I don't know if it's more than one person, but this person was upset that Stadia is doing their job. He's like, why is Stadia pushing this as if it was, why are they promoting this so hard if it's just a developer summit? Or like it's a Kinect. Like, and he's like, I don't like that. Like, what? Are you serious? So you're telling, like, literally on Twitter, you're saying to everybody that since it's Stadia, they're not allowed to promote their developer summit. They're not allowed to promote their event that they're having coming up because of Stadia, because it's not a Kinect. I'm like, what? Are you serious, bro? Like, it's literally their job to get out here, promote, and talk to us, and kind of build hype around it, to get people interested in what they're going to do. Because like us, YouTubers, like people that go live, they need a view count. How do they get that view count? By promoting their stuff. They pay Twitter, they pay Instagram to get the post out there so it can reach a wider audience of people, so they can have eyes and things around this, so they could get viewers. It's literally they literally have a whole department specific to things to get this stuff done. It's like, how can you be mad at that? How can you be? How does that upset you? Like,
well, I mean, look,
it's crazy.
People, like we said last night, people want to connect, and I get where people want to connect, and I'm not saying that there shouldn't be a connect, definitely, but just like you have to pivot towards what's needed most. And what's needed most is to convince people that you're not going anywhere. And like I just illustrated, again, you got to have the longevity and the familiarity with this. Just showing off games doesn't necessarily do that, because, again, we saw the Dreamcast show you off more games than you can handle right before they close shop. The biggest thing that people are talking about is, what are you doing? Are you just going with the flow, or you're building? So you show people that you're building. Now, after you do that, and if you're successful with that, I feel like you can go ahead and pivot, and you can do a connect. You put focus wherever you need to put focus on, and you do it with whatever degree you need to. Like, for instance, when Microsoft was really trying to push its way into the cloud out of fears of Google, their developer stack, they promoted the hell out of that. This isn't new. They just promote them, Phil and Aaron Greenberg. They were like, "Go check out the developer stack to understand more about what we're doing with the server blades for Xbox." And I watched it. I actually watched it. I actually recorded it, and I actually have it on my YouTube channel because of how much they promoted it. They really felt like that they needed people to understand that they were serious players in the cloud, so they heavily promoted the developer stack. This is it's nothing different from what they did. Stadia is doing the same thing because they feel like that they need to let people know that they're still in existence. Now, what they need to do in addition to that is let the people that are here know, and other people know, that yes, games are coming, games that you want to play are still coming. So that's completely different. But yeah, I'm with you 1,000%. But you're not going to make everybody happy. There's going to be people mad about everything. And I think that Stadia is on the right track about what they're doing and how they're promoting it in the words that they're using to do so.
I was just going to say that Stadia did a hell of a job with this promotion, because they've genuinely created a lot of chatter around this summit. Yeah. It's just a developer summit. Usually these things don't get that much traction, but exactly. Hey, Stadia did it. Usually you don't used to just see like a couple hundred people watching a developer summit, but this one, I think this one's going to be good. It's going to be different, and I honestly think they got some surprises in there. Yeah, I think it's going to be great. I can't wait to see what they got to do, and Stadia. I feel like they tapped some people on the shoulder and said, "Hey, look, we got some cool stuff coming." So yeah, they got to produce, at least on that. I think at least on the technical side, they got to produce. I hope this, like for instance, this just can't be a regurgitation of what they said last year. There's got to be more meat to the bone. But I'm excited. I'm with you. I think it's going to be fantastic. With that said, Smock, I want to show this. We've had an instance to where the media, because again, like I said, they saw this article, I believe, by Boiling Steam or whatever, or they saw, it could have been Verge that promoted these other people to do it. Maybe Verge saw Boiling Steam, then Verge's coverage of it influenced everybody else. Who knows? But I want to show you something real quick. So this is a snippet from the Eurogamer article. But before I get into that, I just want to explain this to everybody, that when these people started reporting this, a lot of them started to pivot again and say things like, well, here goes our take on it, or whatever, because they were trying to explain away
why just a second ago they were saying this thing is dead. And Eurogamer just came up the middle. as my wife likes to say, just come up the middle. Just give it to me with no chaser. Come up the middle. They said in this part, the announcement of this Stadia keynote and Windows porting thing, the announcement appears to dispute rumors that Google is planning to abandon Stadia when it announced plans to sell its tech to third-party providers like Capcom. So in other words, that thing that we was reporting on last week from Business Insider, that seemed like to be a goddamn lie. So they called them out without doing it in name. My question to you, Smock, because the information in that Business Insider article seemed to be from dated areas of time. The resources seem flaky at best. I've talked about it for dozens of hours. And there was no reference to the previous Stadia keynote initiatives. And if there had been, and they used that to cross-balance some of the stuff that they were writing about, that could have helped balance out the article and to where all this doom and gloom wouldn't be around. But maybe they didn't want that. So with all those factors, and now that we see Eurogamer call them out, do you think we're going to see more people call them out and be a little bit more direct, or you think people are going to just sweep it under the rug?
I hope they do. That's something I hope to do, but enthusiastically, I would like to see more people call them out. Yeah. But I think people, like, it's the internet. People might just move past it.
Yeah.
But it's all dependent on the community. Like, if the community wants to actually call these people out, we have the power to do so. We can rally together and really get their attention. And, if we really wanted to, if we really want that smoke, we can do that. But it's really, we can do it if you want. We could also, just move past it and just, let it stay in the past, or just call them out so we can solidify it. I would like to see that. Mm-hmm. I would like to see us call them out, and people like Business Insiders, Eurogamer, The Verge, and people like that, and really just like, get your information right, because let's be real. Like with Business Insider, we could call out almost every major publication for false articles that they've written about Google, and and use this keynote to really like, what was that? What were you saying about Google? Just planning to abandon Stadia. Like, we can definitely do that.
Yep. I mean, this is why we do what we do here. This is how this channel got started. Like, we've always were the ones that were fighting the muck out there. That's why we call ourselves. That's why the whole moniker of everything that I do is the medicine. It's the dosage. It's like the prescription to what may ail you in regards to you getting the news the way you should be getting the news. So I never was anybody, and we normally don't partner with people that say, you know what, be nice to the news guy. Be nice to them, man. Their job is that's no. Where our focus is centered at, first and foremost, is the reader and the listener. All right. The reader and the listener is vital. That if you're getting behind a mic, you're getting behind a keyboard, and you're talking in absolutes, that you talk properly. Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, to where I feel, or I personally can't see, opposed to this is what's happening. Because when you have publications do this, right? Like, so let me see if I can find it again. I mean, this is literally absurd, what I'm showing on the screen. Tom's, do y'all understand this? Tom's guy literally said a month ago that Stadia was never going to work. And now they're saying, in just as much absolutist form, Stadia is not dead. Is that not a problem to y'all if someone who may have been interested in this thing and they see the first article but they don't see the second article, and then they lose their opportunity to engage in something that really could have helped them? And even for those of y'all that prefer GFN or Luna or Skuna or Buna, whatever the hell is out there. This is still detrimental to your little camps. Why? Because for a lot of you, Stadia was your gateway drug to get you over to Luna, to get you over to GFN. So that's somebody that could have been introduced to cloud gaming in general that's now lost because they're looking at it like, well, if the premier name in cloud gaming is a failure, then all of cloud gaming is a failure. Let me move on. So justifying and making excuses for this type of stuff that you see on the screen doesn't help anybody. Not at all. So it's interesting stuff. Go ahead, Smart. What are you gonna say, brother?
It's literally a complete 360.
Yeah.
Well, no, sorry. It's a complete 180. Sorry. 180. It's a complete 180 yep. on literally what they said, you know. And stuff like this needs to be called out, you know. Stuff like this deserves to be called out more than a Eurogamer one because they're literally saying it's never going to work. Now they're saying, oh no, it's not dead. You know, it actually could shape the future of gaming. They didn't say cloud gaming, they said gaming as a whole. So it's like, you know, so it's
my God. And look,
so it's like, bro,
Smock, I'm not even gonna get into it this show, but there's a worst case. I'm gonna save it for sound off. Me and you can rap about it off air, but I'm not gonna do it to him today. I would look, if y'all not a member, y'all asses better sign up and be members, because come Monday, the cat's coming out the bag. There's a worse case than this, because this was in the hands of someone else before it was elsewhere, and they labeled it to be something completely different until they saw it'd be like, for instance, Smock. I came out and I got a whole bag of lemons. And I'm like, oh man, I hate lemons. They're sour and they're tart. And I'd rather have grape juice. And I throw the lemons on the porch. And here you come. You're like, oh, lemons? Shoot, I'm gonna make me some lemonade. I'm gonna build a stand. You're hammering, you're building the stand, you done got the lemons, you done squeezed it, and you're pouring it, you're making cash, fist over dollar. And here I come, and I'm looking at you, and I'm like, hold on. Ain't those the lemons that I just had? Oh, yeah, let me run down here and make me a lemonade stand. You know what I'm saying? It's like...
Yeah, that's a good analogy.
It's like I don't have any moral compass. That's the problem. There's no moral compass to how I report these words. I'm just putting these words together just so I can get clicks. Right? Just beforehand... Yeah. I was just saying that these lemons were worthless. I threw them on the porch. But now that they're worthless because I don't like lemons. I think lemons are horrible. So regardless if Daryl Smock is out there making lemonade or not, if I got some type of moral compass or some character when it comes to this, I'm gonna be like, oh, well, good for him. He found a use out of that. I still believe what I believe. But for you to just do a 180 like Smock said and go from it's dead, it was never gonna work, to it can shape the future of gaming, and all of y'all pile on and do this? That's crazy.
That's insane. That deserves, like, stuff like that deserves to be called out. You know? And let me just reiterate for the viewers and for the people. No other platform gets treated like that. No other platform is getting treated how Stadia is being treated.
Facts.
No other platform has gone through. I might be wrong, but I don't think any other platform has gone through what Stadia has gone through. They literally went a whole year of publications just hating on everything that they're doing, trying to really push the narrative that Stadia is dead, to now all of a sudden saying Stadia can shape the future of gaming. those same people that were trying to kill them all last year, that said Stadia has 4 or 5 players on the platform, that says Stadia is going to be dead by this time, next year. It's like to saying that they're going to shape the future of gaming. Like, what happened? What happened, bro? I would love to see that conversation. It's like, bro.
Look, like after this, I was going to save this comment for sound, but after this, I don't want to ever hear that the gaming journalists say it's not their fault.
Yeah, it's not 100% their fault.
They had to, and then I'm gonna show you on Monday a case of where certain sectors had this news already, and they shaped it to be something else. And when they did what I did in that, like how I did in that scenario, after I dropped the lemons on the floor, and I saw Daryl Smock making money off of it, they jumped on the bandwagon. Oh my gosh, faster than flies on ish. So it's a lot. It's a lot to think about for those of you that are out there in the journalistic sectors. Your hypocrisy is on full display. And for those of you that want to make excuses for them,
people in the community,
like all the journalists don't understand, man. I best not hear that. This
ever
absurd.
Ever.
This is absurdity that this is even happening. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, crazy stuff. It is. And then I'm with you. I hope the Business Insider, not just them, but I hope that other people that are guilty of this get called out. You know what I mean? Because it's beneficial to gamers. All right. With that said, it's time to move on. Let's talk about this GFN 3080 tier, right? Now, what a lot of people don't realize, Smock, and what they won't do is they won't give us our flowers. What do I mean by that? We talked about this first last week. Like we tried to give GFN some love. Let me show you something. That's wrong window. We tried to give GFN some love. We told you where techpowerup.com did an article where they said NVIDIA appears to be launching a 1-month subscription option for their 3080 tier. We just didn't know how much it was going to be. They said it says the slide didn't contain any pricing information for the subscription, but it will likely be a higher cost, possibly $20 USD. So shout out to Tech Power Up. They hit that right on the nose. $20 USD. Right. The 3080 tiers offers a high maximum resolution of 1440p 4K when used in the NVIDIA Shield and frame rate of 120 frames per second. And then they did the update March 11th. NVIDIA has officially launched it. So shout out to Tech Power Up. We brought this to y'all's attention first for the most part here. Y'all ain't want to give us our flies. Go check out Saturday checkup last week. But now it's here, Smock, and now we know the price. And here goes the official tweet from NVIDIA about this. Let's see here. Here it goes. Yeah, the GFN Thursday, we're announcing the release of the 1-month GeForce Now 3080 tier. But nobody seems to care. Like, nobody's talking about it. And even when you look through this thread, I see more complaints. Like, when Stadia puts something out there, if it's extremely popular, you're gonna see people talking smack in there. But for the most part, you're gonna see me, you, and a whole bunch of other people on there saying some great, lovely things. And the ratio of that is gonna be greater than the people complaining for the most part. Well, at least recently it has been, but not here. Yeah. Like, nobody seems to care about this, and they're talking about stuff that they don't have. I mean, what's your interest level in this? Is this something that you're willing to try now that there's a monthly plan?
Last week before we went live, I was speaking about how because that I have a display that supports higher frames, I was expressing interest in wanting to try out GeForce, just so I could see if I could really take advantage of my display. But I don't know if I want. I mean, if I wasn't playing Stadia, I would try GeForce Now. If I wasn't already on Stadia, I would try GeForce. But since Stadia has everything that I need as of right now, and I got a PS5, so it's like I don't know. I don't really have a need for GeForce Now. It's not for me. It's not for me. And I don't $20 for 1440p and 120 hertz. It can be too much. It can be too much for some. It depends on what your needs are and what type of gamer you are coming into it. It could be too much because you're not even getting 4K. And then on top of that, to get 4K, you gotta buy into the Shield. How much is the Shield?
Shield
How
is
much is that?
$200. That's $200.
See, so it's like really you're paying $220 for a buy-in to get access to really take advantage of that, and that is where the problem lies. That's where the problem lies, because you still got to buy a console. You still got to buy you still got to buy a console to take full advantage of it.
Yep. Hey, look, smart. I don't cloud game with my pinky in the sky drinking Chardonnay, you know what I'm saying, with a fur hat on. You know, that's some expensive, exquisite gaming right there. $20 a month at $240 a year for what? 4K. And I get it, it's gonna be a little bit more consistent, upscaled 4K, AI generated 4K. It's not native 4K. But it's pretty good looking. 4K 60 or 1440p 120 on my desktop, and then I can do some AI rendering on that depending upon the card that I got. I crunched the numbers. Only 40% of Steam gamers got the cards that could apply for this, but that's here nor there, right? Where, like you, I already got a PC. I already got a PlayStation 5. So if I want to do mainstream dedicated device type gaming at that level, I got those puppies. No clunky AI or interfaces to deal with. You know what I'm saying? And there you go.
Yeah.
When I cloud game, and when a lot of others cloud game, not all. When we cloud game, we're doing it for convenience. We want to see the growth of the tech, and we want it to enhance. But we don't want to be gouged while we're doing it. You know what I mean? And I think the point of GFN dropping this 3080 tier down to $20, it may not have the effect that they want it to have. We can see it just by the first day. Go ahead, go brother.
I don't even want to hate. I don't want to not even to hate on what they're doing. It's good that they have that, right? Because like let's be real. No other cloud gaming service right now can hit 120 frames.
20 frames per second, exactly.
Yeah, no other. So they got that. They got that title, you know. But what they have to do. I don't know if anybody from their team or anybody that has access to Geforce can probably you tweet at them about it, but they gotta push this harder if they want people to really care about what they're doing. They got to promote this way harder than what they're doing, because there's no reason why it should only have 40 tweets and only 130 and only 300 something likes on this stuff. And they've been around for a long time already. So if they want people to actually buy into this, they got to promote this way harder than what they're doing.
Or they got to promote it. They got to promote it better. This is what GFN's problem is. I don't think that GFN. I think GFN is taking the easy way out that Luna tried to take. We're gonna get into Luna a little bit, and I want to piggyback off you. I don't want to hate. I'm not hating on any of these platforms. I see, even though Stadia is my preferred way to play, I see great stuff coming from all of these platforms as long as they got something unique that they're doing, which GFN definitely does. They're enhancing cloud gaming, but everything that uses the cloud to omit games isn't the same. And I think GFN's problem is they're spending too much time trying to poach people over here when the people over here ain't for their service for the most part. I mean, there are situations to where people use GFN and they use Stadia, and there's instances to where you have people that either use Stadia first but then went to GFN, but you can tell by the numbers that's far and few between. You can tell by the reaction that's far and few between. GFN's player base are PC gamers who don't want to upgrade every 5 minutes, like we have to do. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Or people like my son who wants to build a crazy rig, but until he gets the funds to do that, he's lost like so. They need to promote this more to the PC gaming crowd that's having difficulty upping their tech. You know what I'm saying? Opposed to worrying about Stadia's players and Stadia's content creators. That's where they're falling short. And I think if they were to refocus their marketing, they could come up. I mean, I love the Stadia community, but they could come up with a community that dwarfs ours and is way better than ours. Like, look, everybody loves NVIDIA. They're freaking NVIDIA. They make all these cards. So if you stick to people that specialize in PC gaming, not people who are looking for a cheap but decent way to get into to gaming, that's what Stadia's bunch is. Leave them alone and go and get these PC gamers who are running on hard times that want to upgrade their rigs, but in between or maybe in the long run, you give them a better, more accessible solution. That's what you do. Yeah. But that's why I think they're falling short.
I have a free promotion idea for Geforce.
Yep.
This is free. This is free of charge. Here's a tagline. I've heard you've been having problem with scalpers, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So listen, if you're one of our members in a PC community that's been having trouble getting our 30 series cards, why don't you come over and try NVIDIA Geforce? Yep. It's only $99 a year. Yep. Come on, try and you get yourself a 3080 Geforce. You can play up to 4K 120 frames or 1440p if you're on the web, and boom, there, solid promotion right there to get people interested in the advantages of having Geforce now.
Yep. They see, Geforce is a conduit that gives you access to games. They don't have their own store, so if something goes wrong with the game, like if like for instance when Death Stranding or it was some game that someone couldn't access for months after they bought it, and the only way they could play it is through Geforce now. You know what I mean? Yeah. They couldn't access the game that they bought for months. There's nothing GFN can do about that except fix the issue on their end. If the person wants a refund, they're not getting it because GFN didn't sell them the game. They had to go to the third party this and third party that. That's PC gaming stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what PC gamers are used to. Stadia is attracting its cloud approach to gamers that are used to the console way, where everything is under one hub, where I bought the game, where I bought the DLC, this, that. It's all simplified, easy to use, plug and play, go about your business. Stop trying to focus your energy over here. Stop trying to get people to poach content creators over here. Get the bigger names, get the bigger people for the PC crowd that could benefit from the cloud. And I know they've done advertisement like that. Like they got, a cartoon here where they say, don't worry about building a $5,000. But that's far and few between. GFN is putting too much effort. Look, they're free stuff. They're giving free stuff to this content creator and doing this with that content creator, trying to convince this content creator to just pretty much give up on everything, any other cloud, and say so in public and all that. Stop that. It's not working. I mean, I don't care that you're doing it besides the fact that I'm like, yuck. But stop that because it's a waste of resources. Go get people who are in my son's category, who 99 times out of 100 don't want to touch anything console-like. He likes what you can do with a computer, but he can't upgrade. Right. That's your crowd. You know what I mean? So, I don't know, dude. I mean, look, and it's better to go towards them anyway for the simple fact that they're usually the type of people that got the better internet in the first place. Yeah. So you ain't got to convince them to have the best internet,
Yeah, if I've already got it, Yeah.
So, I don't know, dude, but again, and I'm not hating on GFN. I think that what it's done is I always use GFN in my arguments when I'm dealing with the console and the dedicated hardware people. Cloud gaming will never be, as close as fidelity. And I'm like, well, you might want to double check that. You might want to check out something. GFN is 3080 tier did some significant things to close that gap even further already.
Yeah.
And Stadia is going to drop the 4K 120, which that could close it even further. Then I assume Amazon going to try to drop something that might, so it's all great stuff, but
to say that.
It's just frustrating to me, someone that has worked with budgets at a Fortune 500 level, to see them focused over here. Like, you're setting your sights too low. Like, get out of here and go over there. Go over there and promote to those people, because I think that'll help grow the platform. Because Smart, I'm telling you, and people like Ampere, they've told GFN, we know what's going on. We look at the numbers. Most of your engagements are people on the free tier. That's not sustainable. So
not at all.
You gotta get out of here and go to people that, again, want to upgrade but just can't. So all right, that's great stuff. I want to go to the last thing, Smart, and that was Luna. Before we get to our game vibe section.
That's Luna been up to.
Yeah, well, Luna, here's what's been going on with Luna. Let me do I have anything? Oh yeah, we got some stuff on Luna. Oh, hold on, let me see. Where can I find? Let me look it up. Well, there's definitely some stuff on Luna. Luna out of beta. I don't know how I don't have this damn link. I had it.
Yeah, I think we talked about this. But it's like officially out of beta now.
Yeah, it's officially out of beta now. And here's what them being out of beta means. Amazon Luna, everything you need to know. It's hard to believe that Amazon announced its Luna Cloud gaming servers back in September 2020. Here's what them being out of beta means. It means that there's no longer an invite that you need in order to play Luna on a PC. Now, if you had a Fire TV device, you could have just downloaded the app and played from that. Right. But if you wanted to play on your laptop or whatever, or on another device besides the Fire TV device, you had to get an invite. They've also added more channels. I don't know if they got that here in this. They've added more channels. The additional channels is a retro channel, a Jackbox party channel. They got like 7 or 8 of the Jackbox games, and they have a Prime channel, which is interesting, and I think it's actually a good idea, where if you already have Amazon Prime, they give you access to like 5 games. They rotate in and out. You know what I mean? So you don't have to pay extra for the Prime channel. You just use your Prime subscription, go to the Prime channel, and then that's it. That's on top of the other channels that they've already had. Hold on one second. So with all that said, Smart, what are your thoughts on it coming? And really, that's it. And no. And then they.
I can't hear you.
What they did do is they went and they added that direct stream feature, where their direct stream features allows a camera to come on via your phone. So what do you think about what they're offering out of beta?
It's a good start. I believe I'm not gonna pretend like I know a lot about Luna. I don't know the first thing besides what you just told me right now. But it sounds a lot like what Stadia is doing. And it's not a bad thing. Like, it's good to copy what the competitors are doing and build off of that. But of course they got the differences and everything. But the pretty much for me, the standout feature for me is them integrating the games with Prime. That's really good. I think that's attractive. And direct streaming with the face cam. If you've heard me speak, you've heard me beg Stadia about adding the face cam to streaming, bro. That'll literally be a game. I would literally stream all day long. Like more, I'm already streaming a lot now, but it'll be more of an incentive to stream because people can actually see my reactions and stuff like that, and rather just listen to my voice. So I know Stadia's gonna do it. I know it's somewhere on their list. I don't know how high up it is, but I know we're gonna get it one day. But yeah, it's a good start. How big is their catalog? Games.
I think it's like 100 games in Luna Plus. It depends on the channel. There's 100 games in Luna Plus. I think there's like a indie channel, then a retro channel. Here, what I need to play. How to join Luna. Let me see here. Where do they talk about Amazon Luna games? They got games here. Yeah, but I'm looking for the channels. They're now joined by.
Is that all of them? That little list?
Yeah, that's all the games that are on the Luna Plus service.
Okay.
So that's Luna Plus is their version of Game Pass.
Okay. Just by subscribing, I feel we get those.
Exactly.
Oh, that's good.
So I mean, if you're grandfathered in, which I am, for $5.99 a month, I get access to all those games.
It's $5.99.
Yeah,
that's a good price.
Yep, $5.99 a month. You get access to all these games.
What's the resolution like though?
It's 1080p. It maxes out at 1080p.
Okay, yeah. That makes sense then. $5.99, 1080p. That makes sense.
For you know what, and I could be lying because it looks like I'm lying. There are already plenty of games to choose from when it comes to Amazon Luna Plus. Here's a full list. This includes maybe these games are part of Luna Plus. These games include some Ubisoft games.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't think that there were any Ubisoft games in Luna Plus, but it looked like there may be.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. So I mean, you don't even have to have the Ubisoft channel. This could be wrong though. I'm gonna have to check that.
But
yeah, I mean, let me say that again. Yeah,
they got a More Defenders Rising on Luna Plus. That's impressive.
Mm-hmm. So
Watch Dogs 2, standard. Okay.
Yep. So yeah, I mean, they got a library there. It's $5.99 or $9.99 if you're not grandfathered in.
Ooh, see, they got Sonic. See?
Yeah, they got the Sonic games. Yeah.
I can't wait till Sonic comes to Stadia, man.
I think the Prime channel has Sonic in there, so you don't necessarily have to sign up for any of these. I think you can. Like, I'm not look. I can't. The last time I played Luna was in 2021. I haven't touched Luna since then. But they're getting over on me big time, but really not too much. They're getting what, $60 something from me a year. It's not bad as the price of a game. And I don't play anything on there except I played Immortals Phoenix Rising on there. I liked how that played on there, but I really haven't played anything else on there. It's a service worth keeping because I will tell you this: if you're one of those people that believe that Amazon Luna will never touch Stadia as far as its output, I think you're deceiving yourself. I think at the end of the day, it's going to be between Luna and Stadia as far as the top cloud gaming platforms.
Really? Over Geforce?
Yeah.
Hey, Luna over Geforce?
Yeah. Because look, here's the thing with Geforce. And again, I don't want to knock Geforce. But people forget that Geforce has been around for years.
Right.
And Geforce.
So you think they hit a ceiling?
Yeah.
They hit the ceiling already?
I think that because when you look at this 3080 tier, it's so piecemeal together. Like, okay, if you're on your computer, you get up to 1440p. But if you want 4K, you got to get NVIDIA Shield. Hold on.
Yeah,
now we're adding some AI upscaling. Oh, and this, that, and, but you got to have this type of. I think what they did is, see, Ampere Group kept telling them, you got to get more lucrative subscription services because most of your people are on the free tier and you're not making enough money off your subs to subsidize these people on your free tier using up your servers. You're just not. So then they started coming out with these bundles, like, you know, Rogue Company and all this other stuff, and you buy a subscription for like 3 months or 6 months with the Premiere or whatever they call it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But then I think they realized that that wasn't enough. So then this 3080 tier comes out of the pocket. And I think it was still like in a semi-experimental phase again, because number one, how it was piecemeal together. And I got to be honest with you, for me, when I use it, it's a crapshoot. Like and again, I don't want to discredit a lot of people who do use it and they're like, oh, this is cool. It's never been a problem for me. Like the homie Storm loves it. He doesn't get a problem.
Yeah. He streams that game every day.
He streams it all the time.
Every day. Yeah.
But I got a video that I had sitting in the basket. I don't even want to put this thing out here because it's going to have people in tears. Where I booted up GFN, and it was tearing, jittering, it was doing all types of, and it still does that. Some days I won't get it, and then other days it'll be there. So I gave it to my son. I was like, son, this is yours. And he's like, okay, cool. And he doesn't mind dealing with that because he doesn't have a 3070 like dad. You know what I'm saying? So that's still good for him. But I'm not. No, I got a 3070 here. I don't have to deal with that crap. You know what I mean? So
GeForce, see, and things like this. Imagine if Stadia had the type of performance that you're telling me that GeForce was having. You remember when Stadia, like when games were launched, and people would rip Stadia apart, like, Stadia's not performing up to par. Yeah. You don't hear none of that stuff with GeForce, bro. None of that stuff. They just that's how you know that GeForce needs to do a better job at promoting, because yes, people are hating on your people are sending you hate comments, but at the end of the day, all it's gonna do is make you double down on the focus and saying, listen, we can't let this keep happening. You know, we can't let this. So it's better to have negative chatter than to have no chatter at all.
No chatter, yeah.
You know, is to be honest.
GFN's problem is they want to be and Luna to a degree too. And I would say even Xcloud. But everybody's problem is we want to be able to outshine Stadia somewhere. So GFN's answer is, all right, we're going to drop our 120 frames right now, even though it's capped off at 1440p and it has to be upscaled in order to get to 4K. We're going to put that out right now just so we can say that we're better than Stadia on paper. And don't get me wrong, there are things that are better. Like I would be lying. I'm gonna tell you that latency that's on GFN, unmatched. As long as you're playing on your computer and you're playing through the Pro. Now try to play that 3080 tier on a dongle. You know what I'm saying? Like that ain't gonna fly. But playing GFN on, you know, on a laptop or something, and that 3080 tier, oh my gosh, yeah, that latency and it is unmatched. It's bar none. Yes, you're getting better textures in games. I prefer to have a 4K signal because it's sharper. It's better for me. It increases the visual aspect. I love that sharpness. You lose that when your max is 1440p. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Even if you try to do some AI, you lose that sharpness, that resolution. And I love that resolution. But then again, it's the consistency. Me and Storm ain't too far away. He's not clear across the country. Why is it working well for him and it's crappy for me? It works well for this person, but then shout out to the homie Casano. It's a crapshoot for him. It's too inconsistent, and I get to where some people say, "Well, Stadia don't work for me." 9 times out of 10, it's their network setup. You know what I mean? Stadia is the most consistent platform out here. If you want me to pay $20 a month, or $240 a year, or $200 a year, you got to be a little bit more consistent.
You can't have those type of problems. Yeah,
you can't have those type of problems.
Yeah,
you know, like I can't sit there and say, oh well, because Storm doesn't have any hiccups. Yeah, it's worth it. No, it has to be worth it for me. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's not where it's at. But back to Luna, and shout out to Psalmist Pro. Psalmist Pro was one of our winners of our controllers. So if you're a member, we're gonna have another drawing this week. Psalmist Pro and Nerds World. So Nerds World.
Did they claim their
yeah,
prices?
they did. They did. Psalmist did. And then I gave Nerds World a couple more days, and he hit me up, and so we got Nerds World set up as well. So
nice.
Shout out to them. But yeah, with Luna, here's the thing with Luna, and I really don't have any problems with Luna.
I think everybody is really pretty much having this, like Luna and GeForce is having the same issues. If they at least double down on promoting and trying to create a buzz around what they're doing, people are gonna get some type of traction, So I think because it might be my fault that I'm not following them, but to hear like almost close to anything about, I've heard a little something about their launch of them going out of beta, but that's it. Like I don't see Luna trending like how Stadia is trending. I don't see GeForce trending how Stadia has been trending. I don't see that.
Yeah.
So.
Well, here's the problem. Let me see here. Let me fix something. Here's the problem with Luna. Luna's problem is that, again, I think there's too much focus on let me do something better than Stadia. Again, I'm not saying that there shouldn't be any focus. Yeah, you guys are respectively competing in regards. But I think Luna's thing should be more of like, look, we got some we've bundled some gaming, some decent games together that fit under certain categories. And if you're already in the Amazon ecosystem, here's another reason why for you to get into it even further. You know what I'm saying? Boom, there you go. Like, don't worry about, again, trying to poach people that are on Stadia, because the difference with Luna and Stadia is Luna's just giving you channels, where Stadia is giving you subscriptions, a la carte purchases, and like you are dealing with a console. So I'm not saying that I can't mess with console, but I think when you focus too much on Stadia's demographic, you lose an opportunity to do even better with your ideal demographic, which is, again, people that are already gamers, which I'm pretty sure there's plenty of them, gamers that are already in the Luna, the Amazon ecosystem. Especially if you got kids, that kids channel is going to be killer. They have a kids channel, and right now, if you're grandfathered in, it's $2.99 a month, and you get 50 games. You get 50 kids games. You can't beat that.
That's a good deal.
That's a good deal. Like, what are you doing? Yeah. So I think that these services need to realize that I think they're missing out on their target demo by worrying about Stadia's target demo and trying to poach them so much. But I do want to show people smart. Go ahead, what were you going to say? I want to show people something in regard, because what they've been saying is, first they said, well, GFN is going to be the end of Stadia. That one kaput. Now that Amazon's out of beta, they're saying, or Luna's out of beta, there's a camera there. That Stadia's dead. I got some statistics to show otherwise. But go ahead, what were you going to say?
I don't have nothing to say. I'm listening.
Well, let me see here.
This is all new information for me, so this is all new. So I can't say much. Mm-hmm. It's besides like the numbers aren't looking great, but there was in beta, so I guess that's to be expected.
Yep. All right. Well, with no further ado, people. Again, and my role here is not to hate on Luna, not to hate on GFN. I honestly think that Luna and GFN if they focused on the proper demographics, they would be doing better than Stadia without all this riffraff between. Like there's a larger group of people right now that play games on PC that want to upgrade. That should be your sole attention, and that's how you should be building your community. If you snag some people over here along the way, great. But that should be 99.9% of your focus. You know
much opportunity because there's a shortage. There's a shortage of the stuff that you're providing to the players. Like that's where you need to fill that void. Like people can't get their hands on 30 series like that anymore. You know, scalpers are taking it and then they're skyrocketing the prices. They're like doubling the prices. Nobody wants to pay for that. So if they can fill that void and really get that word out there, they can reach so many people.
Absolutely.
So many people.
So true. This is just unbelievable that people, they're too narrow-minded. I think they've been misguided by the negative press. They see numbers that are out there that show that, you know, as far as the cloud gaming platform, maybe Stadia has some significant movement. As far as those that are dedicated payers, GFN I think has more people that have tried the platform out, but again, most of those people are trying it out without paying anything and ever planning on paying anything, right? So I think they're looking at Stadia having probably the largest dedicated group of cloud gamers at the moment, and they're laser focused on that when they could say, hey, look, we could increase this thing 2 or 3-fold by going, like you said, Smock, going to those people. I think Amazon better focus would be doubling down on the fact that they got the connectivity out there, but just putting 99.9% of their focus on their ecosystem. Look, if you play video games and you're already within the Amazon ecosystem, now's your time. We got it for you now. That's what they need to do instead of trying to focus over here. Stadia's, what they put together is unique. You got to be unique as well. You know, you keep chasing Stadia's tail, that's going to be to your detriment. Yeah. You know, so here it goes, folks. The truth about whether this is a threat to Stadia. Again, I'm not saying this to say that there won't be success with these platforms. I truly believe it. But that whole motif of this is a threat to Stadia, the data proves otherwise. All right, so here is a zoom in. Luna currently has 2 Reddits, right? And one was recently created, and another one is a little bit more established. So you're looking around. That's the gap between the two, right there.
That's humongous.
Yeah, that's you. But
it's like the first one is barely even in triple digits.
Yeah, it's fairly new. I mean, we'll be fair. It's fairly new. But with that being said, and it's a group that really, I feel in its advertisement tried to capitalize on Luna coming out of beta. Like they really were aggressive in them adding and their advertisement on social media, and that's where they're at the moment. Right. However, let's put this in perspective. Let's put this in perspective on the scale versus Stadia. This is Stadia up here in the blue.
Yeah.
This is the Luna Reddits down here at the bottom.
The crazy part is people know not to go to the Stadia subreddit, and it still has that many people in it.
Exactly. Yes,
people know that how toxic that Reddit can get.
Yep. And they still, and the participation there is still dwarfs that. So we're not seeing any relevant signs in the Reddits. People, I'm excited. I got Luna now, and this is so great. And we're not seeing a big explosion of that. And here was the bump and subsequent flattening out they got on Twitter for their release. So this was Luna, and they did receive a bump on Twitter, and then it started to flatten out. as time went on.
That looks good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And again, putting that into scale of Stadia and GFN, let's do that. Here's Luna. There's GFN. Stadia. So again, those are significant gaps opposed to what Stadia is doing, even GFN, and then Luna. Percentage-wide, Luna is actually doing great on Instagram. Their following on Instagram is almost as big on Twitter. So when you look at Google Stadia and look at Luna, this is Twitter, Instagram, or not Twitter, Instagram. Yes, Stadia is actually higher, significantly higher, but they started to flatten out. Where if you look at Stadia, if you look at Luna, they're making strides, but they're still that far away from Stadia on Instagram. Right. Now, here's where I think it starts to drive things home, because in order for you to, I don't want to say in order for you, the Stadia, the Luna controller app is vital. The ideal way to play Luna is via the Luna controller, and particularly it's the ideal way to play if you're on a Fire Stick, you're playing on a TV.
Right.
All right. So here are the reviews for the controllers and the other things related to Luna themselves. So for the Luna controller engagement, it's here. It's close to 5,000. For the App Store reviews, the Luna Amazon App Store reviews, the purple part, is at 8,000. And then for the Luna controller app, it's like down here. You know what I mean? And you need that controller app in order to really utilize the controller the way that you're supposed to. Here goes something else that's very interesting as well. All right, so here's the best estimate for the Android app downloads. It looks funny, right? It's because the reviews for the app appear, I'm gonna put a big emphasis on appear, not been proven, to be totally faked at 5 stars starting last fall. All that can be said is that the app is still somewhere between 10,000 and 50,000 downloads, and their downloads to review ratio at least 3 times to 10 times lower than similar apps. So
it's actually crazy how normal that is.
Yeah.
For people to fake 5-star reviews so their app doesn't go below like 4.9 or 4.8 or something.
Exactly.
Like a lot of apps do that.
Yep.
So I'm not surprised about that one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just look how it just flatlined. Yep. So it looks weird. It just flatlined. Like, it looks like Wile E. Coyote's about to jump off the corner of this thing, right?
That's funny.
So here's the conclusion. That concludes how the public release has or has not made a difference in Luna's numbers. It's pretty clear they remain one to two order of magnitudes behind Stadia and GFN, and about the same ratio that Stadia and GFN are behind PlayStation or Steam. So with that said, Smock, we'll continue to keep an eye on this. But again, this notion that Amazon is coming to steal Stadia's Lunchable, none of it is proven. And again, as great as the moves that Luna's making have been, they still got a ways to go to get the numbers. But I just think that they would get to those numbers faster if they get out of this silo. If them and GFN get out of this silo, oh, well, we're worried about what Stadia's doing. Let's poach these people and do this better than them. No. Go to where you shine the best. GFN, you shine best with PC gamers that want to upgrade. Amazon, you shine the best with people within your ecosystem. And I'm sure there's plenty of gamers out there. Focus there primarily instead of...
Yeah, exactly.
making most of your focus over here. What are your thoughts on all this all together, Smock?
I was never in doubt that any of the other cloud platforms is doing better than Stadia. Only because it's not about the fact that I play only on Stadia. That's true. Yeah. I only play on Stadia and PlayStation, but mainly Stadia. Yeah. But it's just the fact that we don't hear any chatter about.
Yeah.
Besides the little crickets, the little stuff that we hear on Twitter. Outside of that, we don't hear anything about the other platform, and it's because they're not going as hard in the area that they should be focused on as Stadia did. Like they're not going out and meeting people. Like what Amazon should have copied from Stadia is creating a little Amazon Luna van, going around and letting people in the public play test and get their hands to show that it works.
Yeah.
That was one of the best things that Stadia has ever done as far as like promotion. Like literally driving around the city and letting people try it out, letting anybody who wants to try it out. You know, nobody has gotten that. Nobody has put forth that much creativity into promoting their platform. Like Stadia was spending weeks and months just straight promoting, even though some of it was wacky. They were still doing it. They were still creating buzz. Yeah. People were still paying it. It was still on your TV, you know? It's just so it was never in doubt that Stadia was the leading platform. It was no doubt on my mind that it was, you know? And now after looking at these, and then really putting in perspective what you said earlier, that Geforce had pretty much reached its peak, had pretty much peaked already. You know, it's like that makes sense because they have been around way longer than Stadia and Luna. And look at the new players coming in, you know, trying to create a buzz. You know, Luna still has I believe, like you said, Luna does have a bright future. I do want to see Luna succeed. You know, they just need to focus on area of expertise of the you just need to fill that void of what gamers are missing, you know. And I guess it's family games for them. It could be family games.
I mean, when it comes to GFN in particular, I mean, I think we're still going to see more increases in power and different iterations, but what people got to realize is that it took them years to get to this point. Like they've been out several years before Stadia, and it took them years to get here. And I still think that the 3080 tier, even though it's functional for many, it may be functional for most. I don't know. I can't say that it isn't. You know, but I think that it came out a little bit too early, and that was in response to them having to have more increased monetary subscription services. But here's the difference with Stadia's underlying technology opposed to GFN's, to where even though GFN has a more powerful version out right now, I think Stadia's underlying technology still is the best out there.
Yeah.
It took GFN 4 years to get here. 4 or 5 years, rather, to get here. It took Stadia 9 months and 26 hours to go from 1080p 60 to 4K 60, and then be on the heels of 4K 120. Because remember, they were talking about the 4K 120 was already out there. Mantis Games already told us, we've already seen them. So they already got the 4K 120 out there.
It's not out. Yeah, they said that,
but they haven't released it
unlimited. They released. They said they specifically said they've seen unlimited number of frames. They said they've seen so many frames that they can barely control how many frames that. Do you know how powerful the rig has to be to get to get those type of frames? Like, oh my God.
So that's why, even though Stadia is sitting on their more powerful tier, I mean, can you imagine? I mean, I can't even imagine what else they have available with all the player data that they've gotten since launch.
Yeah.
That we're only talking about the 4K 120 capabilities that they have yet to release. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I just think that trying to battle Stadia over Stadia's target demo, that's what it feels like is going on, is the wrong way to go. Double down on PC gamers that want to upgrade, make that your primary focus, get away from here. Luna, double down on the saturation that your products and services already have, get away from here. You know what I mean? And if you pick off some people from here, great, but for the most part, do your own thing. You know what I mean? So one last thing though, people say, oh, the Stadia engagement was, they're not doing stuff. They're not doing anything. And they pointed to the fact that Luna went on the Nick Cannon show, right? Like, Luna's going all out with his advertisement. Well, a day after they went on Nick Cannon's show, it was announced that Nick Cannon's show was canceled after 6 months on the
air. Damn. Hey, just take the walling out, man. Just take the walling out.
Hey, look, and I'm not laughing. Best of luck to Nick Cannon. Nick Cannon's gonna be all right. I'm laughing because
he'll be straight.
He'll be straight. My thing is, just because someone puts on a show, the show doesn't always mean that it's going to be effective. I mean, yeah. I mean, and I saw the advertisement. I mean, like, nah, because he was trying to go for the wife, the at home, the at home. Well, you got to if you're having a morning show, and I'm not sure from what I saw if the message conveyed well enough about the family channel. But it doesn't matter, because even if it did, it's not going to matter, because apparently he didn't get enough viewership to even have an impact. You know what I mean? Right. So Stadia, people are like, well, Stadia needs to pick a show to be on. No, this is not going to have the impact that Luna paid for, especially if the show's canceling.
So just let me get this straight so I understand it. Amazon Luna paid to be on, to like be what, advertised or featured on the show?
Yeah, they came on. They had one of their people come on the Nick Cannon show, and film part, just a segment where they're playing Luna games on there, and people saw that and they went bonkers. They said, "Oh my gosh, they're going all out with their advertisement, man! This is crazy." And Stadia needs to step up their game. Everything that everybody else does, they need to step up their game. Well, on the heels of Luna going on that show.
Oh, they got that actor. Hold on, this is the actor from the show on HBO Max. His name is Ashtray. This is the actor from, what's the name of the show? The actor from. Hold on. I love this show, bro. I'm sorry. Bro.
Who's that? He's one of the best. About?
The kid in the gray sweater.
No. This is something different that's on now.
This ain't him?
No, this ain't the Nick Cannon show.
Different.
Yeah, this is something totally different.
Bro.
Yeah, this is Jalen. Yeah, that's Jalen Rose talking to somebody. No, it was the preview.
That's the actor from Euphoria. That's the actor
from
okay.
Euphoria. Yeah, this is.
They just did that season finale.
Yeah, no, that's not who. Luna didn't get him. He was just talking. Bro. Yeah, he was talking to Jalen Rose. Yeah, he was talking to Jalen Rose about something. No, they was just they just went on the Amazon Luna went on the show. They one of their reps did. They played some games. It's not going to resonate or have the impact that they hope it's going to have. What I would just do is use the power of your internal promotion through the Fire TV and promote the hell out of this thing. You know what I mean? So interesting stuff. All right, I think that takes us to our final part. That is the game vibe section, where we give you our thoughts on the latest and greatest. Well, give you our thoughts on the latest and greatest to come to the platform, what we think could do better, and what we want to see on the platform. So, and it's okay if we repeat. It is what it is. But and if you're listening to this, please in the chat, whether you're watching this as a member or you're watching this VOD on Saturday, let us know what games fit fit these categories for you. So I'm gonna start with Smock. Smock, what games are you most delighted to see come to Stadia? We had about 5 games, new games that were introduced over the last couple of weeks. Is there one in particular that you're most excited to see come to the platform?
I have to look on.
Let me see if I can pull them up. Hold on. I might be able to.
No.
All I got to do is go to the Stadia. Let me take the sad news of Nick Cannon. Stadia, take this off. Stadia blog.
Not even, honestly, bro. I'm just looking at the little square of the dude talking. I was looking. That, have you seen? So man, we could talk about. I guess like if we do like a little after show type deal, we could talk about it after. But I want to talk about that show real quick.
What? Okay, so we had Calico Lake, Deliver Us the Moon, and City Legends. Then we have Mad Streets, and then this Ryan game, Rescue Ryan. And then we got Overcooked Golf with Friends, City Skylines. And then we got the Trivial Pursuit game and the Discovery Tour Viking Age. All of those were advertised in the last couple of weeks coming to the platform.
Okay, scroll down a little bit. Scroll down. City Skylines.
Yeah.
It seems like it'll be a game. Just build cities. Is it something like you just build and then you just watch people like walk around the city?
I think it's like one of them sim games.
Okay.
Yeah.
So City Skylines, it makes me think of a game that I used to play on PC. I was never big into PC gaming, but I know that I had a little PC, and back when we used to put the disc in the CD drive on a PC when they had those before they became all digital.
Yeah.
I might be showing my age. This is funny, but there was a game on there that lets you build roller coasters and then ride the roller coaster that you built.
Yeah. What was the name of that roller coaster? Something. I know exactly what you're talking about. It was called Roller Coaster. Jesus Simulator, I think it is.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
But that's what this reminds me of. I mean, that's what this makes me think of. If you could, like, we could do stuff like that in this city game, I would play it. I would play it. But I've never really been into like the Sims type thing. I've never really been into it. But if you could do roller coasters, I'll mess around with it and see what that's about. There's another game that kind of looks like a horror game, but it's like top down. I don't know. Another game. Scroll down.
Oh, Darkwood. Darkwood. That was one
Darkwood. What is that? What is that?
Yeah, that Darkwood is man, that game's been on the platform for a while, but it's a pro game, and it's a horror. It's a top-down horror game. So
that's different.
Yeah, I think that's going to be my next, my first look. I'm gonna be screaming out, you know.
Yeah, it definitely looks interesting. I might want to try that. And then besides that, that's Golf with Friends. You know what? The only reason why I think I'm interested in this game is because if you're into content creation, like playing games like these, and putting them on YouTube can actually pop off a little bit. It may not like go crazy. It may not trend, but if you have a good group of friends, you can play golf with your friends with. It might be pretty good. So I might check that out. See if I can get people together. But I won't be playing that game by myself. That's something that like in a title, you have to play with people, you know, and do something like turn it into something good. Yeah.
Is there any of these games that least interest you?
At least interest me?
Yeah, or do you think it's
games that just flat out don't look interesting?
Yeah.
Kids game.
Yeah, the kids. the Ryan's game.
I'm really into it. Or in the trivial game, I'm not really into. I mean, like it's stuff like so for me, I'm always by myself, so I need games I could just hop in. That's like engaging. You know, that keeps me busy because I get bored quickly, and that's one thing that I like. That's why I keep coming back to Destiny, because there's so much to do in that game. Like even Assassin's Creed, the one thing that Assassin's Creed is missing, that I hope that this DLC has, I haven't gotten that far into it yet, is more of a linear story and less, like, keep it open world for side quests, but just make the story linear. And in terms of there's objective, once you do this, do this, do this, do this, you know? And just don't like fill up your screen with so much stuff, because that makes me just wander around for hours, you know, with like not really doing much. So I need games that's more like that.
Yeah, I mean, what would be your game? It's still, again, if it's a repeat from last week, that's okay. But what would be your game that you're still hoping comes to the platform? It's number one.
Hoping coming to the platform right now. Grid Legends is number one on that list.
Yeah.
Grid Legends. What else? I want to see NBA Live game make its way to the platform.
Oh, okay.
I like NBA Live. And Sonic.
Oh yeah, because we saw it on Luna. Yep. That's cool. I as far as these games here, I'm gonna steal from you. I think the most important game is City Skylines. I mean, when that was announced, the reaction that I saw like really surprised me. I mean, I don't really deal with these type of games, but I quickly recognized rather that this is a game that's going to make a heavy impact on the platform. As far as the game I really don't care about the most, it would probably be this Curse of the Crimson Shadow. It did a pump fake on me when you see the cover. I'm like, oh, okay, this is going to be some action title. It's another point and click.
Dark, gloomy.
Nah. I mean, and again, I'm not saying we've only gotten 2 point and clicks, I think, so far out of the 22 games plus that either released or that we know about so far in 2022. I'm not in that camp. It's just that this I don't think does enough, you know, as far as bolstering the platform or even bolstering my interest. The game that I really want to see, I talked about last week. I really wanted to see Remnant from the Ashes. That's still there. Okay. But I definitely want to see Dying Light 2. I'm ready for Dying Light 2. I'm ready for Dying Light 1. Dying Light 1 and Dying Light 2, I really want to see on the platform. I really hope it's coming, Stadia, please. But what I want to see is an enhancement of something that's already here. I want to see 4K grind. I'm a little disappointed, especially after seeing Dawn of Monsters. I'm disappointed that we don't have a 4K version of Grime yet, and Grime is still, opposite of PC, is a platform exclusive to Stadia. Can we get what we need to do out to Akapura Games to get a 4K grind? Like, we should have had that. I would like to get back into that game, but I refuse to play a game of that caliber that's not at least in 4K.
You know what I want to see, and it's not game related, but what I want to see as far as in general.
Yep.
After Stadia does this summit, developer summit, I don't want to see. We need to start seeing more from developers. We need to start seeing more communication from developers, not Stadia, but developers. Because after this summit, developers can't use that. Oh, Stadia is a new platform. It's too hard to develop on the platform. So updates are going to take longer now. After they do this summit, all that is moot. Stadia is shutting. Like, this should be Stadia's statement to shut all of that down. So for developers taking a long time to develop on their platform, to people trying to say Stadia isn't focused on on bringing games or to updating Stadia, to make it like, focus on Stadia as a whole. Like, this should be Stadia's, like, this summit should be Stadia's case in point into saying we are shutting all of this down. Going forward, any new game that comes to the platform after this summit, there should be communication, clear communication, and it should be top fidelity. The fidelity shouldn't be an issue for any new games. I've said this last year in December in the SSC podcast. We don't want to see anything we shouldn't receive no new game running under 4K 60. That's supposed to be from a good developer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean,
that's just me though.
I am hopeful that we're starting to see games that implement 4K 60 a lot more, and I think they can do so with this. Hopefully, with the development toolkit, with upscale from 1440p. I'll lay the baseline at, like, once this thing gets rocking and rolling, I don't think that there should be any game that is lower than a base 1440p.
Yeah.
If you upscale from 1440p, I'm cool. If you upscale from an 1800p, I'm even cooler. If you can get it native 4K, fantastic. But I don't think we should, once this thing gets rocking and rolling, really, what I mean by rocking and rolling is games start coming out and they're benefiting from the new developer tool set. That's what I want to see. I want to see, and I know they've loosened up on the criteria for certification, you know what I mean? So hence why we're starting to see, we saw more games at 30 frames per second. And when I say I know, I mean, I'm guessing. That's what I mean by that. I'm guessing. That's why we saw, because they lighten up the restrictions on the certification. But when that thing gets rocking and rolling and your first series of games come out and you see, okay, yeah, this really is the lick, then what you need to do is go back, re-hit them certifications, and there should be a base 1440p now. You know what I'm saying? Because it's going to be easier to accomplish. And that's what we deserve as the consumer. So
one thing I want to talk about. Mm-hmm. One thing I want to talk about that's not on our list. I'm gonna ask you a question because I want to see your thoughts, because we haven't talked about this. We haven't mentioned this yet. The article, I don't know if it was Business Insider or The Verge, but the Windows emulator. I know we kind of briefed over an article. I think that spoke about it. But what do you think about Stadia's possibly going, like, adding the Windows emulating feature into Linux, into that? Like, what do you think that can do for the platform overall in terms of development and fidelity? Because I think Steam Deck, I think either Steam Deck or something also runs the Windows emulator through Linux as well. I don't know which one it is, but what do you think about that?
I mean, it'll bring more games to the platform, definitely, and it'll shut up that crowd. And if we can get a bunch of quality games because of that hell yeah, that'll be cool. I like the guy here, the one. Let me go back here. So when you go to the boilingsteam.com article, and I really urge people to read this one, because this isn't just a copy and paste for clicks. Like, they really go into the nooks and crannies here. Can you see it, Smock?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. And so they really they say, well, they says one of the major issues with Stadia so far is they had too few games and apparently required native ports to Linux to make games work. Many of us have been wondering for a while why Stadia couldn't use something like Proton, and they may have just done that. While it seems they have built their own solution, I guess we will know more details in just a few more days. They said, who is Mark Undak, by the way? He is working in Canada for Stadia and has a long experience as a graphics engine programmer, which with previous roles at Ubisoft, Unreal Engine, and finally a porting lead at Stadia for 2.5 years now. He announces his talk on LinkedIn. I guess they meant LinkedIn, and there's an interesting exchange of comments. This is, it turns out, someone from Forge Interactive has been working with Mark Undak on this very project. And it says the Forge, a little Googling around reveals that they are a think tank. See, this is the shit that excuse my friend, but this is the shit that I'm talking about, where journalists do what the hell they're supposed to do.
Yes,
this is what I'm talking. This is the shit that I can appreciate. I can't. No, Tom's Hardware. No, yeah. Don't tell me that it's not their fault. This is what journalists should be doing, and they're breaking it down for you in real time. Like, come on. And this is
good. This is a good read.
This is good. And this is why I say it's the main article, not the copy and paste crap.
Crazy.
Toilet scrapings that we got from everybody else.
And this is the original article. This is where everybody got
That's what I'm trying to tell you, Smock. That's what I feel.
This article blows the rest of them out the water.
That's what I'm telling you, Smock. That's what I feel. This is a little Googling around reveals that they are a think tank building custom engine and rendering solutions cross platforms. They do open source work, and the Forge on GitHub is a cross-platform rendering framework, and they put a link there. So there's not just Google folks working on this kind of solution, and it seems to be completely outside of the work done by Collabora, code weavers, and related developers. Note that while most of us are probably not using cloud gaming solutions, its usage is certainly increasing, as pointed out by Linux Game Servings last year. And then they got this chart. So this is what I'm saying. Did I rate this article? Oh, the article's rating is 5 already. Thank God. This is what journalism is about. So when it comes to that, there's a lot of talented people, it sounds like, working on this thing and making this thing possible. And I'm just excited to see that. I just want to make sure, because again, it's great that these games can come over. There's going to be less porting involved, so you ain't got to spend 30, 40, 50 million dollars. And why not? Hopefully these people will not say, well, I don't want my game on that platform. Maybe they realize the more people that buy your game and put money in your pocket, the better. And maybe I can finally get BioShock Collection, you know what I'm saying? Or, whatever over here. I'd love it. So
this will make Stadia the true.
Oh yeah.
The cloud gaming king, the cloud gaming king, because they have the ease of use of a console, but if this works. How it's looking in my head.
Yeah. Yep.
It's just beyond the content, but the playability, the fidelity of the game, the smoothness of the games will be on PC level. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. That. I mean, that would be a game changer. That's why everybody's so excited. It's just they got to execute on this. They got to execute, and they got to execute well on this. You know.
I think they will.
That I do give them.
I got. This sounds good. This sounds like I haven't even no article went into this much detail, so I didn't even know it was this many people working on it.
Yes,
damn,
that's journalism. That's what the hell. That's what got me percolating. You know what I mean? Not this. We're gonna copy and paste this, and we just said it was dead last week. It's Business Insider's fault. No, give me more. And this was absolutely more. So great stuff.
They didn't
man.
make the article long either. Yeah. Great stuff.
Great stuff. So what we're going to do now is, for those of you that are listening via VOD, this is the end of the show. Smock is going to let you know where you can find this content. I'm going to let you know where you can find mine. Members, stick around, because Smock said he got something else he want to talk about. We're going to talk about it. Again, this is a stacked show, and it's stacked because we just feel like talking. So that's what we're going to do. But with all that said, this is a great show, man. I love having these conversations with you, Smock, and they always go into different places. And I hope people understand where we're coming from with this, But where can the good people find you at?
You can find me on YouTube, youtube.com/Smock Jr. I go live on there a couple times a week. It's mainly Fridays and Saturdays, because those are my 2 days that I have the whole day free. And throughout the week, I may stream like later in the day, a couple of hours, but mainly on weekends, Fridays and Saturdays. I'm streaming a whole lot of Destiny. So if there's anybody in the Stadia community that's looking for people to play with, you can catch me live.
Awesome.
And if you just want to hear me talk, more of me talking, all of that is on Instagram, instagram.com/SmodJr. Same thing, same tagline everywhere.
Awesome. Hold on 1 second. Okay. So you can find me here at StadiaDosage as well on the PNTS network, and you can find me on MM2K videos chopping up some PC footage. You know what I mean? So check out all that content. I want to give a shout out to the people, the members that were here. Dusty Aran, he was chopping it up in the chat. He says, "Hey, good thing I have Ubi Plus." He also says they had a bit of hype with Life is Strange. The Business Insider article dropped. They flip-flop back. They're two-faced. Y'all, and then he dropped the video. Yeah, the video didn't come through, Dusty. So if you get a chance, send it to me. I'm interested to see what that was. Psalmist Pro, one of our controller winners, came through and says, interesting. He says, I have the Luna controller, but have yet to try it. Shameful. Dusty says, not sure who's running it, but there's the Luna community, that Twitter that just compares Luna to Stadia and throws shade. Wow. Well, hey, look, you know, let them live. If Luna wants to do that kind of marketing, use Prime. Yes, absolutely. They have Prime Gaming channel, and people will discover the other channels. Absolutely. City Skylines from Paradox. Paradox is a new publisher for Stadia. Tycoon, he says that we need some ARPG dungeon crawlers. I would definitely love to see that. And there's a lot of them that you can port from Windows. So yeah, great stuff. All right, y'all. That is it for the Saturday show. Again, if you're a member, stay right here. And until next time, have a wonderful gaming day. Peace.